Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. I appreciate y'all being here. And if you're new to the channel, if you're finding us for that very first time, welcome as well. It's great to have you. And as a quick reminder to all, my focus, my mission here on the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information as I can to as many people as I can, across all regions. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel, when you choose to like the videos, when you choose to offer comments, and when you choose to share the information with colleagues and associates. So if you've not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. And to those of you that already have, thank you. Appreciate you being here. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company, and how we can help take your business that next level, be sure to check out those links below. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can consider becoming a channel member, or you can just click that join button below to receive additional information on how to grow and develop your business. And you can also choose to hit that thank you button as well. And so with that said, let's get into our topic here today. And it's 6 tips for reducing expenses in your gym. 6 tips for reducing expenses in your gym. One of the things I always like to do, I always like to put a person in charge of this. Maybe it's an operations person, maybe it's an administrative assistant, an executive assistant. Somebody, maybe it's a front desk manager even. Okay, that you're trying to to groom for bigger responsibilities. But I like to put people in charge of these things and maybe give them some incentives to to really do well at it. So 6 tips for reducing expenses. Number 1 on my list, and this is almost one I put on any list, is make a plan. Okay, write out a plan of action. What is our plan to reduce expenses? Because if you don't have a plan, a little bit you kind of become a victim of circumstance. You're just kind of fighting things off as they happen a little bit. So, get out there and make a plan on how you can do this. Simple enough. And actually, if you're a channel member, you can grab the plan of action worksheet is on there if you're a channel member. So you can go in there and grab that. Number 2, track your expenses diligently. I mean, you want to know where money's being spent. You want to know how it's being done. And one of the ways that I used to do it, I like to have that visual, and we'd have this stuff, was posted, all the clubs would have it. But they had to call in, say we had a budget of say $500 for something, and they wanted to spend $100. They'd call in, get a PO number, and then they just go to their own log sheet and log in. Okay, I spent $100. Now I'm down to $400. Is what I have left. And so we would just monitor it diligently. We knew exactly where we were. When those P&Ls would come out, I knew exactly what they were going to read. I mean, to the penny, literally, I would know exactly what it was because we really tracked those expenses diligently, okay, and made a big difference, okay. Now, the key thing here, we're not trying to choke anything off, okay. You have to spend to do this, okay. We have to create awareness, but track these numbers. If you've got a budget in there, make sure that we know where we're at with it. I'll tell you something else I would even look at here. One of the things we run into is, say, just pick any item you want, but say you've got a budget, you're going to spend $1,000. And say in that same category where you're going to spend $1,000, say you're expected to produce revenue of $5, okay, something that matches up. But if revenues are down, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean you want to spend that full $1,000. Okay, now in some cases you may have to, depending on what it is, but sometimes you want to measure that based on how production is going too. If we're off 20% on production, maybe I should consider, if I can do it, maybe I reduce that line item expense by that same 20%. So what I'm saying is really be diligent at tracking these expenses. Know what's going on with it. You don't want any surprises when those P&Ls come out. Number 3, manage your variable cost. Manage your variable cost, and a lot of your costs will be variable. This is a fixed cost business, and your 2 biggest fixed costs are going to be your rent, and you like to see your rent at about 15% of revenues, and the other fixed cost is going to be your payroll, and that's generally going to be about 40%. Of your revenues. And in some of this, when we kind of talk about managing, variable cost or even managing fixed cost, don't don't start choking things off just to get the numbers down. We can get the numbers down. Okay, that's not hard. It's not going to spend. But we also have to be able to produce. But based on what your pro forma numbers look like, stay true to those things. But manage these variable costs. And some of these, like every year, rebid your insurance, rebid your vendors, get new quotes. It's amazing how on these things that things can just kind of creep up on you, and all of a sudden, wow, I can't believe I'm spending that much money. Okay, even water bills, electric bills, are there other options, other things that you can do in there, really manage, those variable costs. Number 4, get tough on the fixed expenses. And so I kind of touched on that a bit ago, but the two big fixed that I look at are rent and payroll. And we want to see rent at 15% of revenue, at maturity, which is about 12 months. And then we want to see payroll about 40%. Okay, let's just say on the rent you're not quite there for whatever reason. The answer is you have to get your revenue up, right, to get those numbers down. But get tough on this stuff. Maybe you can go out and do some sublets. You can sublet, times that are down times for the gym. You can do a sublet. Someone else rents some space from you. Maybe you can pick up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month in sublets to effectively bring down your rent. Okay, could be a good way to look at it. Okay, on the payroll, I say get tough on fixed on fixed costs. When you look at your payroll, make sure everybody on that payroll is producing. These are things that I look at when we start doing a turnaround. Who's producing, who's not. And sometimes we just have to, maybe reallocate or, reposition some folks and put them in some different spots. But everybody has to be producing. Okay, so when you're getting tough on your fixed costs on payroll, everybody has to be producing. Okay, and everybody has to understand, this is what has to happen. We have to have that higher expectation of production, and so get tough on that. Tough in a way that's going to help help the person and help the company, not tough in a mean way, but be tough on that fixed cost. Okay, payroll's a big one. Make sure we're training our staff. We've got this cost there of payroll, and it's not just a line item cost. The truth is that payroll is your most valuable asset. Make sure we're training those folks. We're teaching them. We're onboarding. We're creating a culture where they want to stay. Because on that fixed cost of payroll, if you're having a constant churn, that's an expensive thing to keep bringing in new people, not only to keep bringing them in, but also all the efficiency and effectiveness you lose in production, with membership sales, personal training, retail, things like that. Number 5, invest in technology. We want to be able to automate as much as we can. Okay, any tasks that are repetitive, let's go out there and let's automate these things. Okay, but invest in that. Invest in things from a marketing standpoint, like whether you've got blogs that you're writing, you've got videos that you're doing. These are things that you put these on your website, and they can be constantly shared, out to social media. There's so many benefits to really investing in technology that will help you kind of streamline this operation and really kind of speak to more people in a quicker manner. What you don't want to do on the technology front is let's don't invest in every single shiny object out there. We don't need all of it. And make sure it's things that are easy to understand. One of the biggest issues I see in clubs that struggle, sometimes the operation gets too complicated. Okay, and then number 6 on 6 tips for reducing expenses in your gym, offer incentives to the staff. This is one we've always done. This is actually one of the first things I do, is offer incentives to the staff. So let's just say we've got a front desk manager, and we've got a front desk that's costing us $4,000 a month. Well, first thing I want to do, and this requires I have to get a plan together and teach them how to do this, but I want that front desk, let's come up with a way to generate $4,000 in revenue. Okay? And then everything they go above that, say they bring in $6,000 in revenue, it costs us $4,000, the club will split the difference. They'll get a $1,000 bonus based on that production. We'll do the same thing with Group X. We'll do the same thing with childcare. Okay? Give them incentives. And if you don't have them on a production kind of program, which I like, and they just need to be trained on it, but maybe you've got a budget of $4,000. Whatever you can save me, still maintain a quality service, still maintain a quality operation, still maintain great member experience. If you've got a budget of $4,000, you only spend $3,000, you can get the job done. You save the club $1,000. We'll split the difference. You'll get a $500 bonus. So consider offering incentives, for the staff on this as well. All right. So take a look at that, reducing expenses, particularly when you get into, inflationary times or recessionary times. We want to keep costs under control, but we still want to deliver on that member experience. That's the big thing. You don't want to show any cracks in that. So folks, again, my name is Jim Thomas. My company's Fitness Management and Consulting. I appreciate y'all being here today. And if you've not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. If you've already done it, thank you. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company and how I can help take your business that next level, please check out those links below. And if you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. Click that join button below for more information. Click that thank you button as well. And we look forward to seeing y'all in that next video.